This is Left Undone.
A podcast rooted in fashion but never limited to it.
We talk about clothes, culture, film, music, politics.
And the opinions that don't always reach a conclusion.
I'm Noor Turk.
I'm Ole Roof.
And in this episode, we're talking about if good taste is a myth.
We will also be deconstructing the gatekeepers, the trend versus style trap, and why the word refined is usually just a code for something else.
This is Left Undone. Hello, Ole.
Hi, Noor.
How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
A little tired, but it's a Sunday reset, so I'm
Sunday
feeling
reset.
a bit better. But I just wanted to remind you guys that if you're listening, we would love if you guys would grab coffee, a water, a matcha, maybe a little snack. God knows Oli loves to snack, so
I
why
love
don't
to snack.
yeah, so y'all get on his train, grab a little snack and
Potato chips, salted peanuts, maybe a little something sweet, whatever.
and listen to us for about an hour. So tell me, Oli.
Well, the viewers might notice that there's a change in scenery. Nora, do you want to explain why this is?
I fear that we had to move again. By we, I mean me. I had to move again. So basically, my rent was done with my last apartment, where was our first studio for the podcast, we could say. And yeah, honestly, I upgraded. What can I say? Because look at this purple wall behind us. Like, are you kidding me? The texture, the purple, like, oh my god.
I can assure you guys that this apartment is an upgrade from the old apartment. There's a balcony with a table sitting outside. It's gorgeous. Multiple times better than the old apartment.
I think I'm gonna do a house tour later, so maybe keep out for that, guys, because I ate with this one.
As a girl who loves Sabrina Carpenter, she loves a house tour. So
yes, but anyways, so why don't we? Besides that, that's I think the only update about the podcast.
That's like
for now.
That's like the biggest update for the podcast is the change of scenery.
Yeah, but we're not gonna change for a while. So get comfortable with this scene and get comfortable with us. And if you're new here, please join us and get comfortable. So I actually want to get into the fit check. And might I add, Oli, you ate. I fear you ate with this. He walked in and I was like, who is you? Like, Oli is always like tip top shape, but like this was like, holy, yeah. So tell us, Oli.
Well, and I think the biggest thing to take away is that I didn't really do anything that different or crazy today. It's just I combined things in a slightly different way than I maybe usually do.
And he layered, y'all.
I layered.
He layered. You see, layering, it actually helps elevate and create a new outfit from an outfit you've already worn several times. And
I can tell you it's from recent inspiration from things I've been learning about watching. So, but anyway, from the bottom up, we have made in Japan Converse Chucks. Love these. The socks are Fortella. The pants are Beams Plus Fatigues. The t-shirt is also Fortella. The shirt is vintage Levi's Pearl Snap Western shirt.
From Melrose again,
from Melrose.
Right?
The vest is also from Melrose. Shout out Melrose again, our favorite vintage store in Florence. If you're in Florence, go visit our friends there.
Yeah.
They'll treat you right. The vest is Shelter. I think it's 80s. It's like a biker brand that was making jackets and vests like this. It's got a crazy back hit. It says Rifleman on the back. A crazy vest. Anyway, the neckerchief is Fortella as well. The hat is Metalwood. Glasses are Moscot. Everyday jewelry. The panties are Calvin Klein briefs.
Remember, we said it's Oli's secret.
Well, I'm leaking my secret again. I do like,
Again,
for the guys, I do like to
exposed.
shout out the panties that I'm wearing.
Okay. Anyways, and then if you guys didn't know or didn't know, we did a little clip on the Tissot watch
Yes,
that
this
Ole is
watch is very
wearing.
meaningful to me. So if you're curious about this watch and you didn't get to hear what this watch is all about, why it means so much to me, go back to our previous episode and I talk all about why this watch is so meaningful to me.
And we have a little clip on our Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah,
YouTube. So go check that
check it out
out if
there.
you haven't already. And yeah, lovely, Ole.
And I'm sipping on Florence's finest, unfiltered. I realized, well, I learned that
We learned
Florence's yeah,
collectively,
that
yeah.
Florence's tap water is actually okay to drink without being filtered.
It
So
just like depends on where you are in
right,
Florence.
right.
That's what we learned because I used to live like a little bit outside of the city center and that water was crazy cuz tell me why I could see like chunks of white particles in it. Yeah, not fun. But anyways, the tap water here is bellissima.
With that, I'm gonna have a sip. Saluti.
Saluti. Okay, cool. And I guess I have to.
Yeah. So I walked them through my fit. Please, Noor, do the same.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Oli. So, let's have a moment for the shoes. Or should I say the heels? Okay, these are Jeffrey Campbell. Blue silk satin. Like, are you kidding me? No, I love these shoes. Anyways, so yes, and then the leg warmers stacked are both from Shein, but we don't support that brand, so that's why old time, bought them like 7 years ago. Anyways, so tights are from Emilio Cavallini again. Shorts, if you guys can see them, shorts are from Hollister actually, but I secondhand bought them from a shop called Humana. Um, yeah, so Hollister. This belt is from Buffalo Exchange in Arizona. This corset is from this. Yeah, I bought it from Vinted actually. I was like, what is the
Mm.
name? Yeah, Vinted. I bought it from Vinted. This blouse is actually from Zara, but I didn't buy it from Zara. I bought it from this marketplace called Cascina. Cascina is a park here in Florence, a
Mhm.
really big park, and they have like this marketplace where like things are so cheap. And I bought this blouse for €2. And yeah, I do not support Zara. We don't like Zara in this household. And yeah, on that note, I felt like I Loki was giving Galliano today.
Mm.
I'm
High
like,
key.
yeah. So yeah, and that's kind of funny that I'm wearing Zara, but Galliano, baby, it's not it. It's not it. The Zara thing is not it,
Yeah,
baby.
we saw the meme. I'm sure a lot of the listeners saw the meme where it's like uh, John Galliano referencing the Zara archive, and it's just like him,
Like a
him digging
pile.
through a landfill of clothes. That had me chuckling.
And that's the thing. If you want to buy Zara, at least buy it secondhand. At least so it doesn't end up in another landfill. Thank you very
Mm.
much. Anyways. And then little flower in my hair actually is from this corset. It came with the corset and I just clipped it in my hair. Jewelry is everyday jewelry. Yeah, like these are accessories that I had with my sister growing up and we never really wore them. These rings, actually, the very chunky ones, I bought them each for €5 in another marketplace here in Florence. Um, and yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Face beat by me, hair done by me.
If
Thank
you ever need
you.
your, if you ever want or need your makeup done, I'm sure Nora would love to do your makeup.
Oh, thank you, Oli. I've also done Oli's makeup.
She has. Those pictures will probably not see the light of day though.
Anyways, we need to answer the question from the last video,
Yes.
Oli. Okay. Do you remember that question?
Yes. The question was, is good taste learned or is it instinctive? And I do have some thoughts to share about that.
Yeah, I think we both do.
If I can say, I think it's honestly a mix of both. I think some people are born with stronger instinct when it comes to having good taste. Although I do think that it's very possible to learn what it means to have good taste and what good taste is, uh, as you live in life. Like, I think if you aren't born with the natural inclination towards things that are good, you can learn what those good things are and adopt those lifestyle habits, those material goods, into your life to make your life better and just more authentic when it comes to who you are and the type of life that you live.
You see, but like with that being said, I also ask myself like how do we identify what is good taste,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I feel like again because like fashion is like a way of like it's like a form of art, you know? You can't really judge art because it's like every like everyone says the
Mm-hmm.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like if I say like I like your outfit, but you know someone else could say they don't like your outfit, but like I think I have good taste,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that you have good taste,
Well, and
you
it's
know.
like I think the definition of where taste comes from is from critics. Like, if we're
Mm,
talking about other industries like the food world, it's the critics who define like where the good restaurants are, what the good restaurants are, where they are, what they're serving, and evaluating whether or not what they're doing is good or not
yeah.
and worth your time as a customer.
Yeah, and I also think like maybe good taste is as well like how scientists do measure like the proportions of someone's face and then they say like oh they're beautiful because of this equation equals this and this, so the things are lining up so it's aesthetically pleasing. I think we can kind of say the same thing to fashion because it's not as abstract as
Uh-huh.
art,
Right.
in my opinion. So I feel like fashion wise if we see something that aesthetically looks not harsh on our eyes, it could be described as good taste.
Mm.
So I think I am with you there. I think like good taste can definitely be learned. I think everyone can learn how to have good taste, and I think again it comes back to like your authenticity with yourself, with what you like and dislike. Also if you have like that extra level of awareness, that definitely
Mm-hmm.
helps I think with your own
Well.
personal taste. And in a way it can be instinctive if you were brought up with people that
Mm-hmm.
do acknowledge and appreciate good fashion, like interesting like silhouettes and textures, and they also appreciate the fact that you are able to like explore with what you like and dislike other
Mm-hmm.
than fashion and clothes, but just
Yeah.
in general. And I think that can help form good taste and authenticity to create good taste.
Yeah. Well, I think oftentimes good taste is just a proximity to power, and that
Mm,
proximity to power is what is either what you're either born into or what you develop as you live. Going back to like the food analogy, like if you have the privilege of enjoying great food from a young age, you will, you're naturally born with that, with those, you're born into those experiences basically, and therefore develop like the palate to enjoy like interesting good food. And I think that analogy translates to fashion, in that if you're born in like New York or Milan or
London,
London, like
Paris.
you're sort of born in this place where the culture is
It's a breeding ground
for
for,
good taste,
yeah,
especially when it comes to fashion, clothing, and style.
yeah.
So that's kind of what I mean when I mean that taste is oftentimes a proximity to power, and the closer you are to that power of taste, uh, the more,
Connection
yeah, or
or the
the
intuition.
stronger your intuition is when it comes
Mm.
to having taste. So
I like that, Oli.
you like that?
I've never thought of it. You like
Mm-hmm. Well,
that?
yeah,
No, I've never thought of that
when
actually.
it's what I was
Well, I've
thinking about
thought
when
of
I.
it, but not in that exact way or like terminology.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so now we want to get into our haul. Okay. So our haul is going to be like what we're talking today. So we're going to be discussing three topics today. Our first topic is who decides taste. Our second topic is trend versus personal style. And our third topic is gatekeeping and fashion and media.
Oof.
Tea. Yeah. Okay. Who the hell decides what taste is? Good taste, bad taste? What? Who decides that? Who do you think?
Well, a lot
Or
in the,
whom?
similar to the analogy that I made, there are the critics.
Yeah.
And these are the people that have some governance in how these like cultural parameters are defined and which ones are the right ones to adhere to. So to
Like
me,
magazines, maybe fashion
yeah,
magazines.
yeah, magazines, newsletters, brands, even like I think
Mm.
some brands in their communication express that what they are selling, what they produce and what they sell is what you should be buying because it is the best version of whatever it is that they make.
Mm. Interesting. I think it's definitely like magazines like Vogue,
Even though
Dazed.
magazines these days, like, it's true that magazines aren't as popular as they used
Yeah,
to be.
I think I was thinking more in terms of like social media magazines,
Mhm.
that's what I was thinking of. Or like platforms such as like BOF
Mhm.
or
Style.com or
Style,
something.
yeah, exactly, or just like Vogue in
Mhm.
general, like Vogue, the website Vogue. Also I think like who decides, but that's the thing. It's like I feel like the industry itself, the mainstream industry, like also helps us decide like what is the taste of now as well when it comes to like their fashion shows and what's on the runway right now. And
Right.
yeah.
Well, and Noor actually had a recent run-in with one of these major taste definers.
Can you guys guess who it is? I'll give you a hint. Think of The Devil Wears Prada
Well, and think of Vogue.
and think of Vogue. Did you guess who it was? Miss Anna
Yes,
Wintour.
she
Yes.
met Anna Wintour.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a surreal, very surreal moment because it was like I've just been working, like officially working in the industry for like 2 weeks and a half or something. And then I actually went to Paris. Am I starting the story time? I'm gonna start the story time. Okay, story time. So I started working for this brand, and they're a very small brand based in Africa. Basically, if you guys don't know, there's this thing called the LVMH Prize Fund. If you don't know what it is, search it up. It's good to know. So yeah, the LVMH Prize Fund either selects um designers, or designers can apply that have like brands apply to be in this competition. And basically, so they select 20 new brands or up and coming brands.
What were some of the other
LVMH.
brands that were there? There was
Oh, like the
Stein. There was,
Sign, the Valley, um, Nong and Rack, Nong Rack, um,
and these are still like small to like medium sized brands who are
yeah,
still somewhat up and coming.
yeah.
This is the LVMH prize for up and coming brands,
Up
right?
and coming brands, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And basically, so the it's kind of like we were joking. It's like the fashion Hunger Games. So it's basically like these brands that are selected, which are 20 brands, in the semifinals. So they go to Paris, and there's like so we were in the La Samaritaine, in Paris, and it's basically like a, what's the name, like a
Department store.
department store. I think it's owned by LVMH
Mm.
actually. So it's owned by LVMH, and so they hosted on the top floor of La Samaritaine, like these booths where all the brands had like their little booth set up and curated the booths, which I helped the brand that I worked for do. And so then there's like these judges. There's like 80
So-called
judges.
fashion experts.
Yes, 80. And yeah, there were like some pretty interesting people in the judges, like Pharrell Williams, Jonathan Anderson. There was
Wisdom.
Wisdom as
Wisdom K.
well,
Yeah.
Anna Wintour, of course, Anya Joy Taylor. There was, to name a few, Imran Ahmad. Yeah, to name a few. So there was a lot of very important and influential people there, as well as influence.
Purveyors of taste.
Oh,
These people
yeah.
are the purveyors of taste. And Noor was
Exactly.
face to face in the flesh with them.
Yeah, so basically, I was like standing at the booth with my boss at the time, and Miss Anna Wintour comes around, and she literally comes up to me like she's like coming like to say hi to me, like she made eye contact with me through her glasses, her sunglasses, and was like, "Hi, I'm Anna," and I'm like, "Hi, yeah, this is my boss, Boo Boo. She's a designer, you know," because I was like, "Girl, I'm not the designer. Like, please don't get me in trouble," you know. So, yeah, but that was like so surreal, and like just to like stand there and be in the presence of her and just hear like the questions that she had to ask my boss, and just like how she like interacted with the clothing and with the questions that she was asking, and just her curiosity. And I felt like I kind of understood on how she makes her judgment of things, and it's definitely through materials, intention, and etc. But it was very, yeah, very surreal. I also learned a lot about what people are looking for when they come to brands,
Hmm.
and it's about like the essence that the brand gives. It's also about like what is your intention creating a brand as such, you know, what are you trying to achieve with this brand's vision, and as well as that like the materials and the way that these products are made, it's like that also needs to have so much intention, which all of the brands did, and it was very just eye-opening to be there. It was also such an inspiration for me myself as like an aspiring designer, so that was just
So,
really
and well, so from
eye-opening.
what I imagined and from what you told me about it, it was very much this old guard in LVMH, representing and supporting these new up and coming brands.
Yes.
And well, that aren't even like like brand new, but the brands that are still looking to
Expand,
yeah,
grow. Yeah, they definitely like,
reach a wider audience.
for sure. And that's the point of the prize at the end. Like then they have like finalists, 8 finalists that they selected, which the brand I worked for did not get selected, but it was still like, you know, the competition is pretty tough. Like
Uh-huh.
they're all very innovative, and yeah. And then at the end, in like September or November, they're gonna select a winner, and this winner is supported by LVMH Group in growing and supporting the brand, and they win a couple.
I am sure there's a pretty good incentive to win as a brand.
Yeah.
So that experience, in this setting where, yeah, like Anna Wintour is there,
Yeah.
like the CEO of LVMH is there,
Mhm.
that contrasted with like the new guard of
Yes.
defining taste, like social media influencers, you know.
Yeah, and I felt like definitely like an imposter, and for the reason for such, and
Mhm,
I'm going to connect these 2 points, is
mhm,
because like as well as that, like I'm dressed like the way that I would dress to this event, but like so many people are dressed so differently. Like some people are more in the professional, like higher fashion sense, where it's like these elevated pieces, like they're wearing them, and it's like very like ooh la la, you know, like this sort of aura. Y'all get it, you know what I mean. But and then there was other people like these influencers that were wearing more like flashy social media like clothing, if you get what I
mhm,
mean, you know. And I was just like, damn, there is like a there is a difference, like there is a line, and I low-key felt like I was like on the newer guard
mhm,
side,
mhm,
because it was also like my first time, my first real time being in a space so brought up by the industry itself. Like Miss Anna Wintour is there, like what
yeah,
can we say, you know?
yeah.
And that's like the old industry, you know, like the vintage industry, we can almost say now,
Mhm.
because we are in 2026. So yeah. And I think, yeah, it was just a bit like, as well, like not really many people at all were wearing like streetwear. It was a more elevated event. So like also there was like, yeah, a lot of people wearing brand names like
Not black tie though.
Prada.
Not like black
Not
tie.
black tie, but it was like an elevated fashion event. Like what you would think about like
What you
that.
would call like maybe business casual in a fashion sense.
Mm, like people were wearing Prada, modern day Prada. People were wearing modern day Gucci, just like a little bit more high fashion. Yeah, I
Mm.
would just say high fashion. And then the lower class people, you could say, were wearing more like these like blazers, just like the regular influencer like skirt and blazer or this like dress. There was this one influencer, she was wearing this like brown coat that was made into like an off the shoulder
Huh.
dress. I thought it was
Cool.
interesting. It kind of gave me like if Burberry was trying to be a bit more sexy.
Like if a trench became a dress.
It
Cool.
was that. It was just so cool. And it was like, I think it had a corset integrated in it as well.
Cool.
So it was just very interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
The differences there. Yeah. But I also wanted to touch on the topic of trends versus personal style. So I
Mm.
wanted to ask you, Oli, where do you feel like trends stem from? Like, where do they come from? And do you think that they are valid? Do you think they're unvalid? Do you like to participate in trends?
Well, I mean, in general, I hate trends. Like,
Trend hater.
I think trends, at their worst, are like the uh, the conglomerate machine, basically shepherding us as sheep into these
Mm.
different
Eras.
channels
Mm.
through product. And I just don't believe in that. I don't think there's anything of like substance and being like in thinking like, oh, what is the next trend? What is the trend now? I need to get on it now before it's gone, like, or else I'm
Mm.
gonna miss out and I'm not gonna
Or
be able to
like fall
participate in this cultural
behind.
moment.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think like that. um
I actually low key disagree with you.
how so?
Like, not completely, but kind of, because in a way, I feel like trends are good. In a sense, not in the way where we become wasteful with our clothes and overconsume, but in the sense of like inviting new ideas to the masses and allowing people to partake because like maybe you might find something interesting in that trend.
I just like when trends are more naturally derived than artificially uh made by the like corporate theater.
But wouldn't you think that trends also stem naturally mostly from like the change in like
Well, and
politics,
hopefully from culture,
culture,
right? And that's how like the organic trends
stem?
the organic trends stem from culture, from community, localized communities, versus the macro trends, which I think I was going to say I think we actually live more in a micro trend world now than a macro trend world,
Yeah, yeah.
through like at least in fashion, through very specific products.
Mm.
Like, you can't go in the streets of Florence these days and not see at least one girl wearing the Miu Miu glasses.
Or sambas.
Yeah, still sambas.
Still sambas. A
Yeah,
lot of sambas. Or
guys with dunks. I still see a lot of dunks in terms of
yeah,
footwear.
girls wearing like aloe sets.
Hmm.
It's mostly the
Yeah,
American girls though.
athleisure, because and
Yeah.
right, because there is such like a large tourist slash like study abroad
Yeah.
community here. There are lots of Americans here, and they bring that like athleisure style of dressing to Florence, and I think that
Mhm.
has actually rubbed off on the locals,
Yeah, I agree.
and like going to the gym, going to doing yoga classes, Pilates, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that American culture, which is pretty strongly identifiable as American, is actually being transferred to Europe, which I think is interesting.
Because American definitely knows how to market if they
It's
know how
true.
to do
Oh, I
anything.
mean, America is the master of entertainment
Yeah.
and the master of marketing,
And
like at such
influencing.
scale, and influence at such scale.
Yeah.
Like, it's not to say that it was all done ethically or safely, but Obviously, there's a lot of darkness around those things, but
Yeah, that
um,
is a pretty
it's
long debate right there.
it's also true that the U.S. is like the pinnacle of uh, marketing and
Just like lifestyle,
yeah,
culture,
yeah.
everything. I
So
also think, like in my humble opinion, which I don't like to say, but I really do think that the US is kind of the center of the world. And I feel
mhm.
like anyone that denies that is kind of delusional
Mm,
because they do like kind of push everything, like Hollywood, the fashion industry in
mhm,
LA and New York, like they do not everything, like maybe fashion a bit more like Europe,
mhm.
like Europe, it did start from Europe, but the US definitely knows how to make money out of that.
Well,
So
and I guess the question that comes from this is, does following a trend mean that you have no taste? Or is it just another way to speak this fashion language that is at the end of the day driven by trends? Because there are whole agencies like WGSN uh,
mm,
dedicated to defining what these next trends are going to be based on these sociological, cultural, political things that are happening in our society. Places like WGSN take that data, take this quantitative, qualitative, societal data, and apply that to models that predict what people are going to want, what people are going to wear in the next year. So the question is, the people that do follow trends that are defined by places like WGSN, do they have taste or do they not have taste? If they do have taste, are they just speaking a different language? What do you think?
first of all, per data analytics, I see you. I see that degree.
Well, at one
Okay.
time, at one time, I did want to work for WGSN as a trend forecaster, applying my statistical data analytics background
Love for
to.
math too.
Yeah, I mean, I studied math, studied economics, and I wanted to like combine my passion with my passion for fashion with my educational background in the analytical stuff. But that didn't work out, and I'm happy to be here now. But yeah, what do you think?
I think it's like kind of a bit aggressive to say like that someone has like no taste at all.
Hmm.
I feel
I think so too.
like we can give like the peace and the breath to people that don't necessarily have taste at the moment, which I like. It's not hard to match a t-shirt and jeans, like
Mm,
that is taste,
that's timeless
yeah,
taste.
that's timeless taste, exactly, thank you. But it's like so I think like everyone has a sense of taste, maybe we agree with it or not, or maybe they don't have like the best taste right now, but they can definitely evolve into having better taste. But I think as well that like again that these are just different terms that people are speaking in, like how we mentioned before, like there's these different languages in fashion, and I would say like for me, my taste is like I like to be like super maximalist and just more like weird in a sense, and like visually maybe appealing to look at in a dopamine
Like you've
colorful
mentioned
sense.
before.
Yeah, like we've mentioned before in our previous episodes. And then I would say like you are very preppy and etc.
Yeah, I kind of mix like my taste lies in vintage Americana mostly, like Western, prep, military, and a bit of biker.
Yeah,
So that I kind of just like to mix all of those elements together into something that seems cohesive.
yeah.
And for me personally, that language that language of fashion in vintage and Americana appeals to me because it is so timeless, because it is exclusive of like fashion trend cycles. And to me, that's like the corner that I want to live in, because as a person who
Mm.
doesn't participate in trends very often, not because I'm not open to, but because I just don't feel like trends these days are organic.
Mm,
uh
I also feel like because you were again like older than me, that you
mm,
have already curated your
yeah,
clothes to represent you, and you have again, like we've said before, like this uniform already that represents Oli. Like me, on the other hand, I feel like I'm still having a bit of an identity crisis, or just not exactly. I had to crash out before this episode, like just basically like feeling like I don't know how to curate my closet. Like I haven't my closet is not curated. Like false to believe from the viewers if you guys think like, oh my god, she has her like things together, like oh my god, her clothes, na, na, na. Thank you, I appreciate it, but I personally feel like that my clothes are just not giving what I want them to give, in the sense where I feel that I'm not intention like, I don't feel that I relate to my clothing that much
Mm,
anymore, unless I take them and deconstruct them and sew and make something new from them. I really just feel that they have been so old, like they're
mm,
5+ years old, and that's from like my past lives. So that, in a sense, and that was me like also participating in trends, like I'm buying trendy clothing, like these furry leg warmers. I would say that they were like trending for a
at the time.
second, yeah, and like leg warmers, they were a moment for like the emo girls.
Mm. The
And I
e-girls, the emo girls.
Yes, and I was like actually low key participating in that trend. And not to say that that was like bad in my opinion. I just think it was different. And I think it did open my eyes to like, hey, like actually these girls like to dress a bit more like funky or a bit weird in a sense. And I was like, I actually kind of like that. And I like the more like girly ish look. Like,
Mm,
oh, look at me, I'm wearing like little leg warmers and stuff.
mm-hmm.
Like, it's cute. I like it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like integrating it in my day-to-day fashion, which I love. But like then I do feel bad for the other clothes I've bought, because I'm like, oh my god, I just don't relate with these anymore because I participated in a trend
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't authentically me. So I feel like trends, sorry to cut you off quickly, but I feel like trends could be great if you know or have a sense of self
Mm-hmm.
and you are more confident in yourself. I feel like they could be great into introducing you to a new idea or a new way to style your clothes. But in another way, I do think it's like just another way to overconsume and to put our planet to more distress
Mm-hmm.
because of the fashion
Yeah,
industry.
most polluting industry in the world. But
Yeah,
I think this is kind of the perfect segue to the next segment about,
tell me.
using self as like a way to, using or building yourself through building a wardrobe. You can almost say
Mm,
it's like building a personal archive of clothing that, and
yes.
hopefully building an archive that will last a long time, and
Yeah,
filled with clothes that you can wear for a long time.
that's the goal.
Yeah, like I do feel like personally I have built a bit of a personal archive of
Yeah.
clothes that, like, I don't need to go out and buy any more clothes for like the next 10 years, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you could buy
But
like more accessories though, because this
yeah,
vest is eating
yeah,
y'all. Do you see
but
what I see?
clothes, like, I'm good.
Yeah, I
Uh
agree.
but yeah, this idea of having a personal archive reminds me of a recent experience that another recent experience that we had this past weekend. Uh
Mm-hmm.
we went to Milan
Milan.
during Milan Design Week. There was an event. Giorgio Armani was hosting an event for their Archivio project, where they hosted my favorite fashion podcast, Throwing Fits, in Jimmy and Larry, James and Lawrence from Throwing Fits.
And Jimmy and Larry say that their podcast is the only podcast that matters, but I have to disagree because I think ours
We're
is,
over here too. We're over here
yeah,
now too.
we're
So
coming up
Jimmy,
hot and
Larry,
fast.
if you guys are listening, we're coming for you. We're a podcast that also matters.
Very much matters. Maybe in a different way, I would say as well.
I mean, they're setting the bar. You guys are setting the bar.
For sure.
No, it was a pleasure to meet Jimmy and Larry. They were
Yes.
hosting, or they were doing a live podcast at the Giorgio Armani store in Milan. And they did a live podcast with Miyako Belizzi, who is a
Yes.
Hollywood costume designer. She did the costume for Uncut
Mm.
Gems.
Uncut gems.
Uncut Gems. Yeah. And Marty Supreme,
Yes.
that just to name two of her works
Most biggest
works.
works.
But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that it was just a dream come true.
And she was like lovely to talk to. And she also expressed, which I very much appreciated, that when it comes to her styling for these movies, she very much likes to do her research on the era of the movie. So like for Marty Supreme, because it takes place in the 60s,
40s.
40s, okay, sorry, 40s. This is editing, Noor, and actually, we're both wrong. The movie takes place in the 50s, specifically 1952. Now, back to the scheduled programming. She was doing the research from the clothing, the silhouettes to the undergarments as well. And she was saying that like she very much likes to also collect undergarments from the time to help the actors and the characters really get into their character as someone living in the 40s, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even she was saying that for the extras she also like gets these undergarments that are from like the 40s or like era specific. Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting as well because I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And honestly, when I become a stylist, I'm manifesting it. I feel like I would do the same because you do want the characters and the actors to feel as authentic as possible in the characters that they are playing.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely comes from the clothes that they are
Mm-hmm.
wearing.
Well, and she also mentioned that some of the people that she's worked with, they all say they dress in only Armani, which is crazy to me. But I mean, it makes sense. And if I could, like, I would as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, like pulling from an archive like Armani,
Mm.
like you might. I mean, the possibilities must just be endless. But like another question that I wanted to ask you was, why do you think we need archives, and
Mm.
why why do you think we also need gatekeepers? Because there's an interesting,
Hater energy towards gatekeeping.
yeah, like when you hear the word gatekeeper, I think a person who's at least somewhat tapped into the fashion world
Has like a more
automatically thinks of
negative,
something negative
yeah,
when they think
negative
of gatekeeping,
connotation. Yeah.
because it is like you're intentionally keeping information about, product, brands, whatever,
Or advices. Yeah.
from someone else, and it's like, well, why?
Yeah.
Like, and I guess I just want to hear your thoughts about that. First, why do you think we need archives, and why do we also need gatekeeping, if at all?
Yeah. Well, I definitely think we need archive because then it is just like what was the brand before, you know?
Like reference points
Exactly.
for future innovation.
Exactly. And also like why do we need archive? Well, it's like saying why do you need to know your childhood?
Hmm.
I feel like that can align in my humble opinion because like the archive is like how was this brand born? What was the
It
brand's
keeps
identity
like keeps the
before?
DNA of the brand physical. When you have
Exactly.
the drawings, when you have the pieces, like,
How was this brought to life, you know? How did this brand come up and then from the way it came up, how did it become so iconic to be the brand that it is today, you know? And I think that's super important. Again, like why do we have history
mhm.
as humans? Why do we study history and why do we have history? And why is history so important? So we understand the intention behind the creation of
And
something.
they say so that history never repeats itself. But I think it's pretty clear that
It's
fashion
BS.
is constantly repeating
Yes.
and using archival pieces for as reference points for future innovations. Like when we
Exactly.
were in the Armani store, we saw the Archivio line,
Yeah.
the Archivio collection that they put out, men's and women's, and you could see the details that came straight from the
Mhm.
archive, like the lapel width on,
Yeah.
there was like a tweed herringbone suit.
Beautiful
Yeah,
suit.
yeah,
Ah, yeah.
yeah, like the width of the trousers, think details like this is why I think you need archives, so that you can keep
Yeah.
track and document along the way through time what is it the brand is doing.
Mhm.
And
And what fabrics,
right,
techniques that the brands used beforehand, and maybe how you can upcycle that
right.
now. And also, like, actually, Miu Miu does this, like, I hope I'm saying this correctly, but they take old garments of theirs and they're trying to upcycle them.
Hmm.
So they're going back into their archive, even though Miu Miu is quite new. I think they're also doing it for Prada, and they're trying to upcycle these archival pieces in order to sell them today. So also we can use it as a term of like sustainability as well, for bigger brands. Hint, hint,
Hmm.
clue.
Hmm.
I feel like as well is that we're in a time or coming up to a time where people are also very nostalgic,
Hmm. For sure.
especially
That's why the
Gen
vintage thing
Z.
is so big right now.
especially our generation, I think we're very nostalgic because now we're approaching or like like we're in our mid 20s, early 20s, and we're kind of like now, okay, oh, I'm nostalgic about my childhood. And, so I feel like it's also interesting from that psychological point of view of like, what is like nostalgia and how can it affect the fashion industry as well, and what are the consumers looking for
Hmm.
now that they are nostalgic. Like, I guess we need to go back
Hmm.
to the archives and
Right.
also dig into that, so that's also another
And in
point.
terms of like preserving these archives, I think that's kind of where the term, not like explicitly, but I think the idea of gatekeeping comes from preserving history or preserving ideas. Uh, like, you can think of gatekeeping as preservation of thought, and when it comes to fashion, preservation of what's cool. And you could say it's a way of just like keeping the tacky people out, but like
Mm,
because you a lot of people do argue that whenever something hits mainstream, it's automatically uncool.
yeah.
So it's like,
That's the other thing that I was gonna say, that there is so much energy and aura to things of mystery, as
mhm,
well. And I feel like gatekeeping is a part of that because it holds back the information or the details, advices, like we've said before, and it like holds those things back. So it creates a sense of like mystery and like kind of like allows you to fantasize a bit. And I think as humans, that's even more appealing to us because it's like, um what is that saying, the curiosity killed the cat.
curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah, so it's like also like, oh, but I'm so curious about this thing that you would almost do anything to find that information, and it just brings people in a way. But
Mm,
also you're like, you can't have
mm,
that.
mm.
But gatekeeping in a social media sense, it is kind of annoying when someone is like talking about like their outfit and they won't say like where they got it from, and I'm just like, why do you do that though?
Yeah. It's probably so that the wrong people don't start adopting this style that they want to preserve,
But
which
I'm
is fair.
also like, are you that insecure that you wouldn't tell someone like there?
Or like mean to share what you like with other people.
Yeah, because it's also like, okay, let's say I was scared that someone is going to copy me. Why would I be scared? Like, I am not insecure about someone else copying me. If anything, I'd be like, that is so cute, but you're not me.
Mhm.
So it kind of looks tacky on you,
Mm,
you know?
mm. Right. And it reminds me of our last episode title, Fashion
Mhm.
as a Language. So for you
Mhm.
guys, the viewers, we said that fashion is language. Looking at your own outfits today, are you speaking for yourself, or do you think you're just repeating a script that someone else sold to you in like an
Ooh.
influencer that is perhaps like gatekeeping certain things? So
Tea.
that's like,
That's tea right there.
yeah, that's like my question to you. That's like my question to you.
Well, thank you for that question, Oli, but I think we're out of time for today.
Yeah, I think that's all we wanted to talk about, right?
Yes. And I also wanted to introduce something new into the podcast. We wanted to, is that if you've watched this episode all the way, please comment a little emoji.
Yeah,
What?
comment like the emoji that like you're messing with the most right now. Your
Okay.
like favorite emoji at the moment.
I like that.
Just to show that like you guys made it this far and that you're enjoying listening to what we have to say, even though we do have the natural capability just to yap our mouths off. So, especially
That's
about
why we have
fashion,
a
which is why,
podcast.
I mean, yeah, and we both love talking about this stuff. So,
Yeah.
if you guys love listening to us yap, please let us know that you love listening by commenting your
Please.
favorite emoji in the comments.
And we always appreciate your engagements. Thank you so much for all the support that we've gotten so far. We really appreciate it,
Yeah,
actually.
we love you guys. We are so happy to have launched. There was a bit of gap in recording episode 2
Yeah.
and this episode 3 because we were launching the podcast, getting the podcast up off the ground.
And also just gaining the confidence to
Yeah,
sit here
yeah,
and talk to you guys and feel comfortable talking to each other. And, you know, this is a lot of
yeah.
pressure. So,
And our friend, yeah, when we launched, my friend Victor, uh, at Series and Things on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
reached out and said, I'd love to do this photography series and interview you guys. So it's cool, really cool to get some exposure in that way. So if you
Yes.
haven't read the Substack post from at Series and Things on Substack, give that a read. I linked it in a
Please.
story last week. Yeah, give that a read if you want to learn more about Noor and me and why we decided to do this podcast right now. Nothing finished.
Everything said.
All right, guys.
This was left
This was Left
undone.
Undone. Peace.
Ciao.
Ciao.